Now you understand why I don't focus on the juniors in high school.
You are Locked On Trojans, your daily podcast on the USC Trojans, part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
Fight on, everyone. I'm your host, Mark Holkin, and thank you for making Locked On USC part of the Locked On Network your first listen every day. Whether you're watching the show on YouTube, wherever you are downloading your podcast, this show is free, and the show will always appreciate your support. And today's episode is brought to you by FanDuel. Make every moment more. As the playoffs wind down, the sports stop sporting like we want them to. But you know what? This summer, FanDuel is hooking up all their customers with a booster or bonus, and they're doing it daily. That's right. There's something for everyone every day, all summer long. Visit FanDuel.com to get started. Dominic Kelly, remember him? Cornerback? Yeah, well, he transferred from his high school in Tampa, Florida. His coach used to be BMW, Big Mike Williams. He transferred to the IMG Academy, Sports Academy. If you're a good player, it's where you want to go. You get to, focus in, hone in on your skills, become the best you can be, right? Boarding school for athletes is what it is. Well, he is a class of 2026. Well, he was a commit to USC. He has now transferred. He has flipped his commitment from USC to the University of Georgia. Yeah. Look, I have no idea if Doug Belk is going to be USC's defensive back coach, secondary coach in 2026. I have no idea if Dante Williams, Georgia's secondary coach, is going to be in Athens in 2026. What I do know is it almost like it's a little bit of a tit for tat recruiting thing going on between USC and Georgia right now. It's like Lincoln Riley has put his crosshairs, his bullseye on Kirby Smart's program, and it seems like Kirby's like, you want to do that? I'll play. And they're going back and forth, trying to go into each other's backyard, get players. And you know what? If those are the two areas that are producing, why not, right? Let the games begin. All's fair in love and war. Here's what I truly know about recruiting. And I want to be very specific. I've told you in the past, I'll restate it again. I really don't like to focus on recruits. So right now, these sophomores going into their junior year, a lot of time to go, right? But I could not care any less. I want to make that very clear. This isn't personal. I don't know Dominic Kelly, never met him, never spoken to the young man. I'm sure he's a great young dude. However, I used to really, really enjoy the recruiting process. Even the guys who were a couple of years away. Not as much as I would follow, the guys who are 1 year out, the 2025 cycle, if we're, trying to make comparisons here. I mean, you always want guys committing and giving, the program a nice boost of momentum. But as I mentioned on yesterday's episode of Locked On USC, part of the Locked On Network, when we're talking about 2 years away and we're talking about recruiting, let's look at that in dog years, right? Again, 2 years away, might as well be 14 years. Doesn't matter. When you commit to USC that far out, or any blue blood school, any Power 4 program for that matter, you're not committing. What you're doing is you're telling everybody else out there, let's start the bidding wars. Because that's really what it's come down to now. Ever since NIL became a big factor and the transfer portal is out there, it has changed the dynamics with recruiting. And I'll be honest with you. I don't know if you really need to take a commitment from a 2026 guy. Again, you want the momentum. You want to show that things are, trending in the right direction. I get it. But this isn't just a USC problem either. It just seems like every day, some guy who was committed is decommitted. And I'm not sure what's going on. Again, I honestly, I'm not sure what a class of 2026 cornerback, what his market value is. But, I don't know. Just seems odd that, your former high school coach, Mike Williams, is at USC now. And then all of a sudden you decide, I'm going to decommit. I'm going to go to Georgia instead. Didn't take him that long either. So I know Dante Williams. I've had a chance to watch him recruit and coach at USC. I've yet to see a guy that he's recruited to USC, at least, develop and, go on to do things in the NFL. Two of his higher rated recruits when he was at USC, Sia Wright, one of the top cornerbacks in the state of California when he came out of high school. He's trying to resurrect his career at Nebraska. Remember Damani Jackson, the number one player in the state of California? Look, he wasn't good enough to make plays at USC. He jumped in the transfer portal. He's going to see if he can make it happen down in Tuscaloosa. Good luck. I like Damani. I just think, a lot of these young men who play at these power programs that recruit like their colleges, the Mater Days, the Boscos, there's other programs similar, the Gormans, a lot of these players don't go on to have great college careers because they are, they're just another piece of talent in that program, and they just overwhelm the other schools. I kind of got sidetracked there a little bit. Point being, just because you're getting a guy from Mater Dei or from Bosco doesn't mean you're getting the best of the best. Too many times we've seen it. It just doesn't work out. Anyways, Dominic Kelly, 6 foot, just slightly above 6 foot. He's 175 pounds. He's been committed to USC since March 24th. Not anymore, right? This is what he told On3 Steve Wiltong, why he is now joining Georgia's program. I'm committing to the program that I believe fits me best as a cornerback. Interesting comment. I don't know. I mentioned his height. I think the communication process probably might have started to slow down between him and Doug Belk. But why else would you do this, right? Maybe he's not tall enough to play in USC secondary. Again, barely 6 foot. Everybody USC's recruiting is 6'2". When he picked USC back in March, this was the song he was singing. Remember, I just told you what he told On3's Steve Wiltong, why he's choosing Georgia. Okay, what best fits him at cornerback, the program that best fits him. This is the program that best fit him just a few months ago. Quote, USC is a special place. Academics are very important to me. Obviously, we know that what USC brings on that front. And then obviously football. I see the vision with the new defensive staff, and Coach Riley is a special guy. So when I went, it just felt right, and I committed. Me and Coach Doug Belk have a great relationship. He's a down south guy, so we bonded on that front. Like I said, I really like the vision of the program, and I really felt that's the best place that I wanted to be at. This is my favorite part of why he picked USC back in March. This part right here. Ready? The non-football aspect of USC is something they preach to me a lot going in there. It might not be important for other people, but for me, that's a massive part in choosing a school. After telling that to Coach Belk, Dan Lynn, and Coach Lincoln Riley, they spoke a lot on the academics, the weight the degree holds, and ultimately what USC can do for you outside of the world of football. I'm interested in the USC Business School, and I want to get my MBA in finance. Obviously, there's some great connections in LA, and SC has a great undergraduate business program. So, what changed? Probably Dante Williams getting in his ear saying, you know what? All that stuff that they sell you at USC about academics and networking connections, we can do that for you in Georgia. And you'll get developed more. And our football program's more serious. Yada, 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 yada. Coach speak is used all the time, right? We hear it. Recruits pretty much say all the same things too. They know what they should say, what they're supposed to say. I'm going to offer some advice. I would encourage recruits to start telling the truth or just don't say anything at all. Don't give us the coach speak answers, right? Before I wrap up this segment, because I know it's really negative in opening of the show, USC lost to a recruit. But you know what? We're going to finish it on a positive. Maybe the reason Dominique Kelly decommitted, maybe, is because USC had another commitment ready to pop in. Class of 2026. He's a cornerback. He's from St. John Bosco. His name is Joshua Holland. No relation to the wide receiver back in the day, Jameer Holland. Remember him? He is tall. He is lanky, just like Jameer. Josh also has a really good frame. What the staff likes about him. They think he could add weight to that 6'2" frame that he already has going into his junior year at Bosco. So again, the Trojans landed a commitment from 4-star St. John Bosco, local product. Everybody wants that, right? 6'2", 170 pounds, St. John Bosco. He is considered the nation's number 325 overall prospect and the number 30 athlete in the 2026 On3 industry ranking. Joshua was part of a group of unofficial visitors who checked out USC over the weekend, this past weekend. The reason why he's listed as an athlete is because he could play both ways, both sides of the ball. And he's going to be playing wide receiver at Bosco this year. His head coach, Jason Negro, friend of the show, this is what he said. As long as Josh can stay healthy and he can absorb the mental side of the game and be able to be in the right place at the right time on both offense and defense, I think he has the necessary skill set and athleticism to be able to do it. He's going to have to work on his conditioning. I think he's more than willing to do it if we need him to do it. And I think he's willing to step up to the challenge if need be. Close quote. One last thing I want to tell you about Josh. Really important because, again, this goes to the culture, the locker room, everything that you want to make sure you have a happy team. Personality-wise, this young man checks off that box. He's a really good kid. People gravitate towards him. He's one of those leaders. And check this out. He even got a shout out from Juju Lewis from his camp on X when he made his announcement. So that's a positive sign. Yeah. Juju said that's my guy. So there you go. You lose a commitment, you gain a commitment. Hey, let's look at it from another positive aspect. Yeah, you lost Dominic Kelly, young man from the state of Florida, but everybody's been saying USC needs to focus on their local kids. Guess what they just did? You know me, I love sports. I love them a lot. I love USC football. I love USC basketball. I want a channel that goes 24/7, 365. But right now, there's no more playoffs. You can watch the Olympics if you want. You want to be a Dodger fan, watch Major League Baseball? Check it out. You can do that. And because the sports aren't sporting the way I want them to, all I have to do is open up the app on FanDuel, and I can dream up bets anytime I'm in the mood. And this summer, FanDuel is hooking up all customers with a boost and a bonus, and they're doing it daily. That's right. There's something for everyone every day, all summer long. Visit FanDuel.com, the official sports betting partner of Major League Baseball. That's FanDuel.com/locked-on to get started. I know you're watching Fox, you're watching ESPN just like me, and you're hitting that mute button. You have to turn down the volume because someone's yelling. Make the switch to Locked On Sports today, like I do. It's a free 24/7 sports streaming channel, and it's programmed for you every day to bring you the biggest stories without all the yelling. Locked On Sports today brings you can't-miss analysis, brings you the news, and it brings you opinions. And it's streaming 24/7 on YouTube or the free Amazon Fire TV channels app, part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day. Over on wearesc.com, I've been doing my power rankings series. I started on the opposite side of the ball. In ascending order, I start from number 5, working my way to the top. So offensive line, number 5, tight end group, number 4, running backs, number 3, quarterbacks, number 2, wide receivers are going to be the highest rated group on that side of the ball. The reason why I have the offensive line at 5, even though they are the key to the season on that side of the ball, they can move up. They're the lowest because they have no room for error. 0, none. And so you understand how I'm doing my comparison. The wide receivers have the top spot because you have room for error. You can lose somebody there and you can still continue and be very, very productive. So that now that you understand how I did my ranking, what the main variable was, I made the case for the most important compared to the best players. Did that on yesterday's episode. I gave you my 40 most important players. Sometimes it's both. Your best player is also the most important. For example, Jonah Monheim, offensive line. He is the best player on the offensive line. He's also the most important. You watched yesterday's episode. If you haven't, go check it out. You'll understand why. Same thing with Bear Alexander. If either one of them are gone, the house of cards gets really shaky for the offensive line and for the defensive line. It'll keep standing, but yeah, like I said, it gets really shaky. It's not going to take a lot to knock the whole thing down. So this is what, for me, what separates the wide receivers at number 1 from the quarterbacks number 2. That's what we're going to talk about for these next 2 segments. USC's quarterbacks. And this is how I came about this is, the chicken or the egg. Which came first? Does a wide receiver make a good quarterback look like a Heisman winner? Or do the quarterbacks make the wide receivers look really good? Trojan fans, it's a tough choice, really, when you think about it. I mean, it's like half a dozen on one hand, 6 in the other. You always have good quarterbacks. You always have good wide receivers. What's great is they work together so well. So again, there's so much talent in that wide receiver room. There might be a drop-off if you lost, say, a Zachariah Branch for a game and you got to go to Jay Fair. Again, the offense is still going to work. It's just going to be less dynamic. When it comes to the quarterback, okay, you only need 1 starter. USC has 2. And when you think about it, the backup, he actually has more starting experience than USC's projected starter going into the season. Just to remind everybody, this is your returning production. So you have redshirt junior Miller Moss, 6'2", 205 pounds. Last year in 2023, he played in 5 games. He was 46 for 65, 77% completion rate, 7 touchdowns, 1 interception. He also ran for a couple during the regular season. Redshirt sophomore Jaden Mayava, the transfer from UNLV, 6'4", 220 pounds. Last year, as a freshman, he started 14 games. He went 224 for 353 yards, 353 attempts throwing the ball, completed 63.5% of his passes. That's not a bad number. This is the one that I think scares everybody. 17 touchdowns against 10 interceptions. It's not quite 2-1. And then your other quarterback on scholarship returning, you have redshirt junior Jake Judson, 6'1", 212 pounds. Last year, played in 1 game, the Holiday Bowl, but he made the most of that 1 opportunity. 4th down, 1 carry, 1 yard. Yeah. Pretty interesting when they put him in. But that's Lincoln Riley. He has confidence in his quarterbacks. And his quarterbacks like playing for him. I think everyone would agree that Miller taking over for USC's most recent Heisman Trophy winner, number 1 overall draft pick, Caleb Williams, that's a major storyline. When Moss spoke recently, he said that his main focus this offseason, taking over for Caleb, was balancing the need to take a step into a leadership role with focusing on handling everything I need to do for myself and get ready, as well as, get ready himself. So the first thing he did with that, Miller's first step, is when he got that starting job in the Holiday Bowl against Louisville led the team to a 42-28 victory. That was against the top 30 defense. That's going to build some confidence. Because he took that big of a first step, all those quarterbacks that were jumping in the transfer portal that everybody said, yep, Lincoln Riley's in. I was saying it. He's got to go in. He's got to get another quarterback. Because you can't have one scholarship quarterback on the roster. Excuse me, two, Jake Jensen. You gotta have more than that. That was the reason. But all of a sudden, Miller's doing what Miller's doing in the Holiday Bowl, and all those guys all those quarterbacks are ready to jump in. They're like, I don't want to go to USC. I don't want to deal with that. Will Howard said, I'm not dealing with that. I mean, Coach Riley went and did an in-home with the guy. Will Howard is now Ohio State's projected starter in 2024. Coach Riley said it best after the Holiday Bowl. Miller may have just scared away all of the competition for that starting job. Lincoln Riley had to convince Jaden Mayava, don't go to Georgia, come to USC. Fortunately, that happened. In that Holiday Bowl performance, what Miller did, he used that surrounding, that supporting staff that he has. It's a really strong one, by the way. Talk about the receivers, the running backs. He used everybody around him to make himself look really good. And that's what makes Miller the right guy right now at this time. Because he understands he doesn't need to be the guy. He doesn't have to put the team on his shoulders. He doesn't have to be Superman. He gets it. You don't need to be Caleb 2.0. Use Zachariah Branch, use Deuce Robinson, use Mekhi Lemon, use Jacoby Lane, use Kyron Hudson, use Kyle Ford, use Jay Fair, use Jaden Richardson, use every single wide receiver you have on the roster. Use the most recent scholarship recipient, Josiah Zamora. Congratulations. That was announced today. So, Miller Moss is the guy. But I'm going to tell you why Jaden Mayava is ready to be the next man up. Don't forget, as a freshman, he was the 2023 Mountain West Freshman of the Year. He was the 2023 College Football Network Freshman Quarterback of the Year in the country. He earned second team All Mountain West Conference, and he was Phil Steele's All Mountain West second team quarterback. And he won Freshman of the Week honors in the Mountain West 5 times. That's a record. So you would think with all those accolades, Jaden definitely has that starting quarterback taste in his mouth. It's still lingering back of his throat. Can't get rid of that. Once you have it, you can't get rid of it. You can spit it out all you want. It's going to hang. But again, he watched Miller Moss's bowl performance, and I think that played a role in why he initially said, I'm going to go to Georgia. It took Lincoln Riley saying, dude, no, I'm the man. Jaden's play at UNLV, very impressive, freshman or not. You look at the way he plays the game, you can see why Lincoln Riley likes him. Really high ceiling. And the other thing he showed as a freshman, the moment wasn't too big for him. So with that experience behind him already, taking a step up in competition on the practice field at USC with one of the best quarterback developers kind of holding his hand along the way. USC's got 2 proven starters. What makes that great? USC has 2 starters. They are in a good position if they need to make a change, heaven forbid. Here's something else. Lincoln Riley, when it comes to being a quarterback coach, he's got the Midas touch. I mean, if you need more evidence that Lincoln Riley knows how to develop quarterbacks, you're probably one of those people who thinks the earth is flat. You're one of those guys. Know this, right? There's 4 things in life that are true: death, taxes, and a Lincoln Riley coach team is going to have great quarterback play and great wide receiver play. Again, it's like he has the Midas touch. When it comes to the passing game and reserving a seat in New York for the Heisman ceremony, if Lincoln touches you, there's a good chance that's where you're going to end up. Think about this. Since Coach Riley became a head coach at Oklahoma back in 2017, he has had 5 starting quarterbacks, 4 of which have been Heisman Trophy finalists, 3 of which have won the Heisman. That's impressive. That's a staggering thought, according to Joel Klatt. He said it on one of his most recent podcasts. What Lincoln Riley is doing with the quarterbacks is totally unprecedented. We've never seen something like this before. The closest thing that I can remember is when Carson won a Heisman. I'm talking now. So you had Carson Palmer, then Matt Leinart a couple years later, and then Reggie Bush got his. Yeah, USC is going to be just fine at the quarterback position, especially as long as Lincoln Riley is doing the development. It's summertime. You know what that means? It's barbecue season. You get to stock up on all of your grilling favorites, and you can earn cash back on every purchase when you use Ibotta. You know what? When you use Ibotta, you won't have to choose between burgers or hot dogs. You can get both. Ibotta is a free app that lets you earn cash back every time you shop. And the average Ibotta user, they earn about $256 per year with their savings. Other apps give you points that don't amount to much. With Ibotta, you earn cash back that you can withdraw to your bank account, PayPal, put it on a gift card. Simply add the offers in the app, upload your receipt, and voila, the money is yours. It's time you joined the over 50 million users who use Ibotta to earn cash back every time they shop. Right now, Ibotta is offering Locked On USC listeners $5. And all you got to do is try Ibotta by using the code LOCKEDONCollege when you register. Just go to the App Store or the Google Play Store, download the free Ibotta app to start earning cash back, and use code LOCKEDONCollege. That's IBOTTA in the Google Play or App Store, and use code LOCKEDONCollege. Warmer days, sunnier days, they are calling you. And you got to fuel up with them with Factor's no prep, no mess meals. Meet your wellness goals in time for summer thanks to the menu of chef-crafted meals with the options like Calorie Smart, Protein Plus, and Keto. Factor's fresh, never frozen meals are dietitian approved, and they're ready to eat in just 2 minutes. So no matter how busy you are, you'll always have time to enjoy nutritious, great tasting meals. Make today your day to kickstart a new healthy routine. Stop procrastinating. Start today. Make your day delicious from breakfast to dessert. Stay fueled with easy, nutritious options. And you know what? And you can keep your kitchen time to a minimum. Factor meals are ready in 2 minutes. Enjoy your lifestyle. Choose from 6 menu preferences to help you manage calories, maximize protein intake, avoid meat altogether, or simply eat well balanced meals. Head to factormeals.com/LockedOnCollege50 and use code LockedOnCollege50 to get 50% off your first box plus 20% off your next month. That's code LockedOnCollege50 at factormeals.com/LockedOnCollege50 to get 50% off your first box plus 20% off your next month while your subscription is active. All right, I mentioned in the second segment, USC's got 2 bona fide starters at quarterback, right? Back at Oklahoma, Coach Riley had a similar situation. You had Spencer Rattler, he was a starter. And then Caleb Williams came along. We'll say he earned the job. He eventually took over. And the rest has been history. What is Coach Riley going to do in 2024? Pardon me. Is he going to put some packages in for Mayaba? I think everybody knows Miller is going in as the clear favorite as the starter. It's going to take a lot to unseat him. So what's Coach Riley going to do? Is he going to put some packages in for him? Use his athleticism, his size, his ability to run. He also has a really big arm. It gives defensive coordinators something to think about. Or, you know, if that's not going to happen, Does Jaden have to go through the same process that Miller went through? Sitting behind Caleb, being patient, learning, taking it all in. Or is this going to be the year that Coach Riley makes his transition like he did with Spencer to Caleb? I don't know. What I do know is you don't want to upset the locker room. Miller is this team's leader. Jaden Mayava, he is slowly becoming part of the program. He's been here since the spring. He's now spent the entire summer. Fall camp, just a few days away. I'm looking forward, in my observations, to see how he's interacting with the team. If he's more vocal. I kind of got the impression during the spring, much more reserved, more of an introvert. That was something Miller had to work on, being more extroverted, more vocal, as opposed to leading by example. So I'm curious to see what Lincoln Riley is going to do with his quarterbacks this year. He's got Juju Lewis on the horizon, part of the 2025 class. Jaden Mayava, redshirt, sophomore. And Miller Moss, he's got this year. If he wants to stick around, he's got next year. That's why I'm bringing this up. How is Coach Riley going to make that transition? Because you've got a young quarterback chomping at the bit to get in, backing at Miller. And then you've got Coach Riley's hand-picked guy for the future in Juju Lewis. It's going to be really interesting to see how the quarterback position is used this season. So is it going to be a two-quarterback system? Is he going to stick with one? Or is it, going to be on a game-by-game basis? Hey, you know what? We can exploit something on that defense. And they might do some surprises. We'll see. Give me your thoughts on it. If you're watching on YouTube, hit me up in the comments section. You know where I am over there on X. Hit me up. Throw it out there. And when you're done making Locked On USC your first listen every day, get over to wearec.com. Check it out. A lot of content. Again, fall camp starts in just a couple days. I got Media Day at USC on Wednesday, the 31st. So yeah, everything's coming up like that. I will also be going to USC's last summer basketball practice this week, Thursday. And then I go right into football. A lot coming up on this on Locked On USC. That's why you got to tune in every single day. If you're watching on YouTube and you haven't become a subscriber yet, why? Click that red subscribe button. It's quick, it's easy, it's free. Thumbs up, smash it. It helps the show. And click that bell notification button. You're not going to want to miss an episode because you're not going to want to miss all the news and all the opinions. So until the next episode, everyone, you know what to do.